So now let's look at the processes which we are going to implement today. So we'll start off with installation of the TensorFlow Object Detection API. I'll not be getting into the details of this TensorFlow Object Detection and showing you how to install all these things. You can read through those the link here and then and get that done. After that, what we'll do is once the Object Detection API is been downloaded, we'll create a workspace which is specifically for training. And then generate something called the TF records, and TF records are the way in which the images or the basic input files are read, and then we'll configure the training pipeline, and then we'll also look at the inference cycle. So let's quickly look into this this object detection, the installation part of the object detection. So this is the link, installation link. So you can go through it. I'll just quickly run through this. So the initial steps are for installing Anaconda and TensorFlow in your environment. I'm assuming that you would have already have your installations there. So here you can find installation for both the CPU and the GPU versions of it. So yeah, you can just you might have already done this, so let's skip this and let's get specifically into the object detection API and those installation which are specific to object detection API. So the first task here is to get what we call as a models master. So this is the and TensorFlow has got a models repository which is required for different types of training, using those TensorFlow Object Detection API, and then you can just download it. Either you can use it through the Git, the Git link is given here, or you can download as a zip file. So the zip file comes as something called the model masters.zip. I already have it. So what you can do is you can download the zip, make it and rename this model masters to models. And then you can save it in a folder, in a specific folder where you're going to do the training. Either you can name it as TensorFlow. Let me open my PyCharm and then show you. So here I've created a folder called the TensorFlow Object Detection API, TFODAPI API. So this is the specific folder which I've used, and these are the stuff, the models. So here this is what you early saw as this models master. So I've renamed it as models here, and then you have different types of folder structures under this GitHub community. So these are something which comes along with this models masters. So you can see that community official research, and research is one of the important folders which we'll play with. Now there are certain installations which are required, which are required to run the object detection API. The first one is the protobuf. So you can follow these steps here. So you can download the zip files from the release pages. So the release pages are here, and then you can download the zip files, and then you should go into the TensorFlow Object Detection Model Research directory. So here is the so you have, this is the research directory. So you have your models under which you have your research directory. So you'll have to go there to do all those specific tasks which are required. So you can just read through it, and then it's quite straightforward, and you will see those what you need to do, object detection. So this is what you have to do. You have to install this, and then these are the commands which are there. Okay, both for Linux and the Windows. The next step is the installation of the Coco API. Now Coco is that data set which is for object detection, right? So, and we need a specific API which is provided by Coco API, which is called the Coco API for running this, and then you can clone it from the GitHub, GitHub, and then again you can copy that, from the after you load the GitHub or clone the GitHub, you can copy that particular folder called Pico tools. So that's something and that has to be kept into the research folder. So let's get in the research folder. So, and you can see this folder Pico tools, and this has come from the Coco API installation. And then next step is to do the installation of the object detection API. Again, you will have to stay in this TensorFlow models research, and then copy a file called the setup.py. So this is in that object detection packages TensorFlow setup.py. So you can see that here. So this is the object detection. Then what is it? Packages TF2 TensorFlow 2 and this setup.py. So what you're doing is you're copying this specific file into the root folder of the research. So root and then run this command Python, this specific thing. So this step kind of installs the object detection API. I mean, if at all you might get into any of those errors, just go through this and then try to solve this. So once this this ends all the installation steps. So once this installation is done, you can also do a testing of your installation. So testing of your installation is through a specific script which you will find inside the object detection builders. There's a specific script inside this. So that you can run. So once it is run, you will see such all the results of this test. So if your installation has gone correctly, then you should see that it would have run all the 24 tests and you will get an OK. So that's all on the installation part. So you can try that out and then try to install, and reading through that, it's quite straightforward. So once we do the installation, then we will get into the next step of creating your workspace. So now your installations are done. So once the installations are done, this is going to be your folder structure. So you will have your models folder, which is your main folder, which has its own other folders, which comes as part of the TensorFlow Object Detection API. And this TFODAPI API is the folder which we created. So either you can name it as TensorFlow or any name which you want. So this is up to your discretion, but the other ones comes as part of your TensorFlow Object Detection. Now once the initial installation is done, what we will be doing is we'll be creating a workspace, and this is where we will do all our work, all our training, saving our annotation files, saving the exported models, downloading the pre-trained models, and where all the images and models, everything are kept. So everything what we will do will be in this workspace. So let's look at that. So what you need to do is you need to create each of these folders. So you need to create a folder called the workspace inside the root folder TensorFlow Object Detection API, where this models file is also there. I mean, remember, this models file come with your downloaded TensorFlow Object Detection API. Now you have to create this workspace, and then under that create folder called training pothole. You can name it whatever you want, it's okay. Training underscore potholes. And then these are some of the other folders which we need to create. So let's look at each of those folders, what they are. So annotations. Annotations are basically where our annotation files are. Now the annotated files are in a specific format called TF records, test records and trained records. Okay, so this is the format in which, and there is also something called a label map. Now we'll see how to create all these things in a minute, but we'll just see what all are involved in the whole setup. So these records would be the train record, test records, and this label map, which is kind of, label map is kind of a mapping between your classes and your class IDs. That's all. And the test and train records are the specific format in which the images are required and the annotations are required for TensorFlow Object Detection API to work. Now the next folder is the exported model. Now this actually comes after your training process. Now after your training, what you need to do is different models get, or the best model gets checkpointed. and what we do is we take the best models out of it and we keep it separately for us to do the inference. So if you can see, I've done two different training two different model checkpoints have been exported here. We'll come to that, so you don't have to worry about this at this point of time. Once we do the training, you'll see how we'll export these models here into this. Now these next folder is the images folder. This is where we keep the JPEG or all our image files. So you keep all our train files in the raw format, the JPEG format, and the test files like this. So you split it and then keep it here, and you will see later, how these images are read and these records are created. And the last folder which you need to create is called the pre-trained models. Now this is where we will download the pre-trained models. So first of all, TensorFlow Object Detection API has got multiple different types of models. You can train RCNNs, you can train SSTs, you can train YOLOs. So many different types of models can be trained. And whichever model which you want to select for your specific training purpose, you download it from a specific site and then store it here. And then so that we'll come to that, how to store this specific model file. So you'll have a checkpointed model which is a pre-trained model, and this pipeline config. It's a config file which controls the complete training process. So these are all the initial levels of setups which are required to do our training. So now what we will do next is, in the next video, is once we've got an overview of all the different setups which is required, we will actually get into creating these records, the test, the train records and the test records, and we will be utilizing many of the initial CSV file, the annotated CSV file which we used in our post 2. So if you haven't seen the post 2, I would suggest please refer to the post 2 of this series. You will find that those links in the blog post, and I'll also put these descriptions here in the video also, that post 2, and then you can refer that and then see those annotation files, because we'll be using that CSV to create our records. So that's what we will do next. Yeah.